Alrighty folks, this is Lurch from Ireland Gaming and welcome back to From the Depths. I'm in the latest Devtest build. I finally got around to looking at the resource overhaul patch and sort of figured I'd give you a little preview of what's to come. So I've been waiting for a slightly more stable build before having a proper tinker with it, and that has arrived along with the new engines. But I'm not going to be looking at the engines in this video as there is a lot to cover. But I will be having a look at them very soon. First of all, the 8-meter loaders are fixed. Hurrah! Now, obviously this is the first thing I tried, but after learning of the 10-meter hard cap for explosion radius, I wasn't that terribly hopeful about what I could get out of these. These huge ass shells are totally impractical. You either need truly ridiculous cannons to get a semi-reasonable rate of fire due to the absurd reload times, or make low-gauge needle shells with about 20 shell block parts, like this ridiculous thing here. But this thing requires a 52 block barrel to get its accuracy bonus, and I've actually had to use fins, so there's a strange trade-off there really. Let's pop something in so you'll see it shooting at something. Just something small. Water buffalo you'll do. Huge, they look more like missiles. The 8-meter loaders are mega cool. They are really cool. But as far as look at the damage, jeez. As far as practicality is concerned, I'll take a 1-meter loader any day. Strictly for the versatility. If you're familiar with the old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, this is a pretty good example of ignoring that advice. The shell part cost is really high, the reload times are really long, and it makes it very hard to get an efficient cannon. I'm sure it has some niche uses, but I rarely even use the 4-meter loaders, so I doubt I'll have much use for these guys. But I am going to play with them a little bit more and see if I can find a good purpose for them. But anyway, let's have a look at the new resource overhaul stuff. This is it over here. First of all, let's have a quick look at the new parts. These are the cool new storage boxes for resources. Now I just have them all placed here so you can have a look at them. These are the large oil drums. There's actually two parts. This one is a cap, and it's the same as that part there, and then there's a bottom section so you can stack them and it looks good. And there's a smaller version of the same oil drum. We have a metal storage crate. No, sorry, this one. Eek. That guy's pushing me round. What an ass. This, I believe, is scrap, actually. Get the UI on here. Yep, scrap. The large and the small varieties. These are the crystal large and small varieties. They look pretty cool. And the metal boxes, obviously made of metal. Those are the only two that are really hard to distinguish. And this is, guess what? The wood. It's for natural resources, and these ones at the end are the various different types of fuel storage that you can get. Now these are all required if you want to spend any of these resources on the vessel, be it for repairs, for ammo production, for fuel production, or even just for fuel. You need to have these on board now. In the vehicle designer, these automatically fill up for you, and you don't actually need them. Your ships will still run, but in the campaign you're going to have to transfer these resources from other ships or attain them on the actual vessel. Now all ships currently have a 1 kilometer range for transferring resources, and you can toggle the give and idle commands with the F5 key. We'll get the UI up here, and you see down beside the minigun there, the hotkey, you can change it to give and idle, and I believe it's idle, it won't distribute any of its resources to any other ships nearby. Now you can toggle at a resource overlay using the R key, and bear in mind that that was the repair key. You can see it's now been rebound to F7. This overlay displays how many resources are available to this ship. It's currently kind of difficult to read, you've got these ambiguous bars, but they are displayed in the order that they show up on the main interface. So you see at the bottom left is your natural resource, and that's green. Next we have grey, which is metal. Next we have oil, which is red. Next is scrap, which is yellow, and finally, the bottom right resource on your UI is crystal. There's also another readout here on the left that indicates the fuel and ammunition resources. Now red is for fuel and grey is for ammo. I'm really hoping this all becomes more obvious in the future. I'm sure these are just placeholders, but it took me quite a while to work out just what all of these bars meant. A lot of deleting and replacing of those. Next, we have to know how to transfer resources between ships. This doesn't happen automatically. Now you can see the additional UI features added in the strategic and global map views. So this is E and M by default, and when you select a ship you get this scary new interface, this big array of buttons. Now don't worry, the tooltips on this are really good and it's not nearly as bad as it looks. First of all, to transfer resources your ship has to be part of the same supply group, as shown by these numbers at the bottom, 1 to 5. Select your ship and add it to supply group, well 1 in this case, and then next, this puts this guy into supply group 1. Next we want to put another ship into supply group 1. Now that puts these both guys in the same supply group, and like you see the little numbers starting to fly across and they're starting to transfer resources. The ships are set up by default to hold no resources at all, so they'll start distributing them evenly between ships in the group. You can use these other buttons to choose how much of each resource you would like to hold on the ship. We tell this guy at the top to hold 100% of the oil resource. He should start filling up from the other ship. And there we go, a massive pile of oil just got transferred. The other platform will just start giving it away all away and try to fill up. And that's more or less it. That's how you transfer resources. Now we have all this oil here, let's tell it to select none, and it should distribute to half and half, or at least to the same percentage on both sides. Oops. You see this is approximately the same percentage of the bar. And we can transfer it around and we can tell this guy to keep 100%. Or keep none and back to this guy. And you can do this with all the other resources. It isn't really as bad as it looks. It's a bit clunky, but I'm sure there'll be something else to make this a little bit prettier in the future. But it works very well, and like I say, the tooltips are very, very good on this. So, on to the next thing, refineries. The last part of the resource overhaul so far is the fuel refinery. I don't know if this will be like a complete replacement for the old one, but it certainly seems to be the heavy-duty version of the old fuel processor. I'm not going to be going too in-depth on numbers on this as they're liable to change, but let's have a look at the parts. First of all, we start with the bog standard fuel refinery, and that's the primary component, and you can do it all on its own with just this and it will start refining away. Warning, highly explosive. This is totally the case. As the refinery works, it produces dangerous gas levels and you have to get rid of these in some way. The fuel refinery flare stack, which is these cool looking flamey chimney things here, are a way to get rid of the dangerous gas percentage. This is kind of a balancing thing. I mean, I have loads here, and mousing over any part of your refinery gives you the tooltip for it. But yeah, they are for removing the dangerous gas percentage. The more dangerous gas that's being built up, and if it reaches a high level, it'll start doing damage to your refinery. This is the way of clearing the dangerous gases from it. Next up, we have the fuel refinery desalter. As it says here, only one desalter provides bonuses. This guy increases the fuel amount per oil. It makes it more efficient, and it gives a small decrease to the amount of dangerous gas that's built up. It also gives quite an increase to the efficiency of these fuel stacks, or the chimneys, the flare stacks, sorry. And having just one desalter really improves their efficiency quite a bit. Overall, it's a way to improve the efficiency and increase the amount of time that it takes to produce oil. Next, we have the fuel refinery coker. Now the coker refines remaining oil. It, as it says in the tooltip, moderately increases fuel gain per oil and moderately increases refining time. And that's a stackable one, so it's a way to make a much bigger refinery by spamming those guys. We also have the catalytic cracker. The catalytic cracker is the final stage of refining the remaining oil, and it greatly increases the fuel gained per oil. And it greatly increases the refining time. This is basically the big stompy version of the coker and has a slightly different scaling. It just works a little bit different. It's for high efficiency, slow and possibly large rigs. Like I said, the numbers are all being changed around, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. Now, you can basically connect these in any way that you like. You can see these lovely little details on the side. You have these little tubes connecting to the outside, And that seems to be the way that you connect them all together. All of the models stick directly together nicely and have a lovely sort of interconnected feel for them. There seems to be some restriction as to where you can place things. I think you need these little pipes. These flare stacks though, you can plunk them on anywhere. Like anywhere at all. I wonder if they would stick on the top. No, you can't put things on the top. That's fair enough. I can put them there. Ah, you're not connected. Haha. So I guess you have to place it. Oh, you put one there. No, you can't. That's disappointing. Okay, so they have to be connected by the side. So there we go. We did some science. But that's more or less the refineries. As I say, not going into too much detail because a lot of these things are going to change, but the basic premise is the bigger your refinery, the more efficient it is and the more fuel that you will get per oil. And that's kind of a trade-off. You can have a slower production facility that's very efficient, or you can have lots of small ones that are less efficient but produce loads and loads of fuel. And I guess it all depends on how much fuel storage you have or what your requirements are, what your needs are. So there we have the refinery. Nifty, rather cool little system. But that's just a quick look at the resource overhaul and some of the things that it adds. And I really hope you enjoyed the video. Any likes, subs or comments are really awesome. I do love hearing from you guys and I read every single comment. As always, take it handy and have a bloody good day.